The galaxy simmered under the weight of endless war. For decades, the Vexan Consortium and the Zurich Alliance had waged their brutal conflict, a struggle for dominance that consumed star systems and left planets barren. On the edges of this chaos, humanity thrived in self-imposed isolation. Earth and its colonies, rich in resources and innovation, had chosen neutrality, wary of entangling themselves in the galaxy's endless thirst for power. That peace shattered in a single, devastating moment. A routine convoy of human trade ships, carrying vital medical supplies to an independent frontier colony, was intercepted in neutral space by a Vexan fleet. The Vexan commander, a hulking creature clad in obsidian armor, offered no pretense of diplomacy. "Human vessels," it barked over the comms. "Your cargo is now property of the Vexan Consortium. Resist, and you will be destroyed." The convoy's captain, an aging veteran named Elias Kane, refused to comply. "We are neutral. You have no authority here," he declared. His voice carried the weight of humanity's pride, but also its naivety. Moments later, Vexan beams ripped through the convoy, leaving only charred debris where the ships once floated. News of the attack reached Earth within hours. The footage of Kane's final transmission, his defiant stand and the devastating silence that followed, was broadcast across human space. Grief turned to outrage when, only days later, a second Vexan strike obliterated the colony those supplies were meant to support. Millions perished in the unprovoked attack. Their cities turned to ash beneath orbital bombardments. The Vexan Consortium dismissed humanity's demands for accountability with scorn. To them, humans were an upstart species, insignificant in the grand tapestry of galactic power. "You will learn your place," the Vexan ambassador sneered during a hastily convened council meeting. On Earth, a storm was brewing. In a vast chamber beneath the Andes Mountains, the United Earth Council convened. Political leaders, military commanders, and influential scientists gathered, their faces grim under the harsh glow of holographic projections displaying the devastation. At the head of the room stood Admiral Helena Voss, a battle-scarred strategist with piercing gray eyes that seemed to dissect every problem before her. "We can no longer afford neutrality," Voss began, her voice cutting through the murmured debate. "The Vexans see us as weak. If we do nothing, they will strike again." Prime Minister Darius Lorne, a measured man known for his pacifism, folded his hands. "War with the Vexan will drag us into the Zurich Alliance's fight. Do we want to become another pawn in their endless conflict?" "It's not about what we want," Voss replied sharply. "It's about survival. The Vexan didn't target us by accident. They wanted to send a message. If we don't respond, we are telling the galaxy we're easy prey." The room fell silent. Then, from a corner, Dr. Anika Sharma, head of the Terran Science Directorate, spoke. "If we engage, we must do so decisively. Humanity's strength lies in our innovation and adaptability. We have systems and technologies the galaxy has never seen." She gestured to a projection of Earth's military assets: sleek warships, advanced drones, and AI-driven strategic frameworks. "We can fight on our terms, but we cannot afford hesitation." The council debated late into the night. Some argued for aligning with the Zurich Alliance, seeking strength in numbers. Others, including Voss, pushed for an independent campaign, humanity fighting not as a subordinate but as an equal force. In the end, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would no longer remain on the sidelines. The first step was to retaliate, not out of vengeance, but to send a clear message. Humanity was no one's victim. Plans were laid for surgical strikes on Vexan, supply depots, and forward outposts. Teams of tacticians worked tirelessly, their strategies blending centuries of terrestrial warfare lessons with cutting-edge advancements. Humanity's military doctrine, dormant for so long, now awakened with precision and purpose. Admiral Voss, now tasked with leading humanity's forces, stood on the bridge of the Erebus, Earth's flagship. Staring at the holographic display of Vexan-controlled space, she spoke to her assembled officers. They thought we were weak. They thought we'd stay silent. Let's show them what humanity does when pushed. As the fleet prepared to launch, humanity held its breath. Neutrality had been their shield for decades, but now it was shattered. All that remained was a resolve to fight. Earth's fleet emerging from its docks, sleek and gleaming, heading into the stars. Humanity was no longer a passive observer. The galaxy had forced their hand, and humanity would respond, not as victims, but as contenders. The stars over the Midras sector gleamed coldly as humanity's fleet slipped into position, cloaked by sophisticated countermeasures that left the Vexan sensors blind. This was the first phase of the operation, a calculated strike at the heart of the Vexan supply network. Humanity's survival hinged on the precision of this attack, a gamble as bold as it was dangerous. Admiral Helena Voss stood at the command deck of the Erebus, her gaze fixed on the tactical display that projected the looming target. Kaix Station, the nerve center of the Vexan's logistical operations in the sector. Around her, the bridge hummed with quiet determination, officers working in perfect synchronization. "Phase 1 begins," she ordered. Her voice was calm, but the weight of the moment pressed on every word. The strike was flawless. Squadrons of stealth fighters, guided by human-piloted AI hybrids, weaved through the Vexan defenses like ghosts. EMP bursts crippled the station's automated turrets, while cybernetic infiltrators disabled communications. As human marines stormed the facility, the Vexan defenders, disoriented and overwhelmed, fell within minutes. The operation sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Vexan Consortium, known for their overwhelming force and near invincibility, had been outmaneuvered by a species they had mocked as primitive. Kaix Station burned, its destruction severing vital supply lines to the Vexan war front. For the first time in decades, the Xeric Alliance advanced, emboldened by humanity's audacity. But the Vexan were not an empire to retreat quietly. Their retaliation came swiftly. A massive fleet, bristling with weapons and bolstered by reinforcements from the core worlds, descended upon humanity's forward positions. Among their commanders was General Voris, a ruthless tactician infamous for his scorched earth policies. The Battle of Voris Prime would decide humanity's fate. Voris Prime, an arid planet with a single sprawling metropolis, had been chosen as humanity's staging ground for its next offensive. It was a calculated risk. While strategically advantageous, holding the planet meant defending against the full might of the Vexan Armada. Admiral Voss convened her senior staff in a war room aboard the Erebus, a holographic map of Voris flickering before them. "We can't match them in sheer numbers," she said, her tone measured. "But numbers mean nothing if we control the battlefield." Her strategy was as unorthodox as it was brilliant. The city was evacuated, its sprawling infrastructure repurposed into a labyrinth of traps and ambush points. Drone swarms patrolled the skies, acting as both sentinels and decoys. Subterranean tunnels were rigged with explosives, while electromagnetic pulses rendered Vexan targeting systems erratic. When the Vexan fleet arrived, they found a planet seemingly abandoned. General Voris sneered at the apparent cowardice of his foes and ordered a full-scale planetary assault. Troops descended en masse, armored walkers and mechanized divisions advancing into the eerily quiet city. Then humanity struck. The first wave of attacks came without warning. Artillery fire from hidden emplacements tore through the Vexan ranks, while drones swarmed their air support, jamming communications and sowing chaos. Human infantry, equipped with adaptive camouflage and augmented reflexes, emerged from the shadows to dismantle the disoriented Vexan forces. Amid the chaos, General Voris barked orders, his frustration growing with every passing moment. Hold your positions. Crush them underfoot. But the Vexan were fighting an enemy they couldn't see, in terrain they didn't understand. The battle devolved into a nightmare of attrition, with the once dominant Vexan force reduced to desperate skirmishes. Above the planet, the Vexan fleet faced its own disaster. The Erebus, leading a flotilla of human warships, executed a daring maneuver, luring the Vexan flagship into an asteroid field rigged with concealed mines. As the flagship detonated in a fiery cascade, the remaining Vexan vessels fell into disarray, hounded by human fighters and long-range railgun salvos. The victory at Voris Prime was decisive. Humanity had not only held the line but shattered the Vexan offensive, crippling their ability to project power in the sector. The news spread like wildfire. On Earth, celebrations erupted as the footage of the battle's climax was broadcast, a symbol of defiance against insurmountable odds. In the galactic community, humanity's reputation transformed overnight. Once seen as mere spectators, humans were now recognized as a force to be reckoned with. The Zurich Alliance extended an offer of partnership, but humanity remained cautious. Admiral Voss's words to the Alliance's emissary echoed across the fleet. "We'll stand with you against the Vexan. But make no mistake, we fight for humanity first." As the Vexan scrambled to regroup, their leaders convened in desperation. Humanity had not only survived but turned the tide of the war. For the first time, the Vexan began to fear the very species they had sought to conquer. Humanity, however, was not finished, and the next move would be theirs. The Vexan homeworld loomed on the holographic display aboard the Erebus, its golden cities gleaming defiantly against the void. Once the jewel of a sprawling empire, it was now the last bastion of a crumbling regime. Admiral Helena Voss studied the tactical projections in silence, her mind weighing the risks of the final assault. Around her, the command deck was tense but resolute. Victory was within reach, but no one dared underestimate the ferocity of a cornered predator. "All systems green, Admiral," reported Commander Malik, her second-in-command. "The fleet is in position." Voss nodded. "Let's finish this. Signal all units. Operation Dawnfire is a go." Humanity's fleet surged forward, a force unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Warships bristling with advanced weaponry moved in coordinated formations, supported by swarms of autonomous drones. The Vexan homeworld's orbital defenses unleashed torrents of fire, but humanity's ships weaved through the chaos with precise maneuvers, their adaptive shields absorbing the brunt of the assault. The first phase of the attack targeted the planet's orbital infrastructure. Shipyards and supply depots were obliterated in precision strikes, cutting off any hope of reinforcement. Vexan warships, desperate to hold the line, fell into disarray under the relentless onslaught. On the planet's surface, panic gripped the Vexan elite. Their council chambers, once the seat of galactic power, now echoed with frantic debates and bitter accusations. General Voris, one of the few surviving commanders, slammed his fist on the table. "We underestimated them for too long. Now, they're at our gates." But the Council's unity had shattered alongside their empire. Some advocated surrender, while others demanded a suicidal last stand. Meanwhile, human forces executed Phase 2. In a daring operation, elite human Marines descended onto the planet, targeting key command centers and disabling planetary defenses. The Marines, equipped with exosuits and neural uplinks, moved with a precision that left the Vexan defenders outmatched. Resistance crumbled as humanity's forces secured strategic locations, paving the way for the final push. As the fighting raged, Admiral Voss delivered an ultimatum to the Vexan leadership. Her image appeared on every Vexan screen, a stark contrast to their own craven rulers. "Your empire is finished," she declared. "Surrender now, or we will reduce your cities to rubble. Humanity does not seek your extinction, but we will ensure you can never threaten us or anyone else. Again, her words sent ripples through the Vexan ranks. Soldiers laid down their weapons, and civilians took to the streets, demanding an end to the war. The Vexan Council, recognizing the futility of resistance, capitulated. Humanity had won, but victory came with a heavy burden. The galaxy watched as humanity dismantled the Vexan war machine. Their once mighty fleets were reduced to scrap, their colonies liberated, and their power broken. The Terran Accord, a new interstellar coalition led by humans, rose from the ashes of the Vexan Empire. In the months that followed, humanity's role shifted from conquerors to stabilizers. Former Vexan territories were rebuilt under the watchful eye of the Accord, ensuring resources were distributed fairly among the liberated species. The Xeric Alliance, though initially wary of humanity's dominance, eventually joined the Accord as equal partners. Admiral Voss, hailed as the architect of humanity's ascension, stood at the helm of this new order. Yet, she remained pragmatic. Power is a responsibility. She reminded her commanders, "We didn't fight to replace one tyrant with another. We fought to create a future where no species has to endure what we did." On Earth, celebrations gave way to reflection. Statues were erected to honor those who had fallen, and humanity's leaders worked tirelessly to balance their newfound authority with the principles that had guided them into the war. The galaxy, once fractured by conflict, now moved toward an era of cautious cooperation, bound by the lessons humanity had carved into the stars. As the Erebus embarked on its next mission, this time a diplomatic voyage to negotiate peace treaties, Voss stood alone on the observation deck, gazing at the infinite expanse of space. "They forced us into their war," she murmured, "and now we've forged a galaxy where we can finally be at peace." The stars, once distant and unattainable, now bore witness to a humanity transformed. They had risen from reluctant participants to galactic rulers, not through sheer conquest, but by proving that even in the face of annihilation, humanity's resolve was unyielding. The fleet vanished into the void, a symbol of humanity's enduring strength and the dawn of a new era where they would not rule with fear, but with the wisdom hard-won from the fires of war.